Hi everybody, my name is Terry Hoknes. Today we are on a mission to continually read through the Saskatoon Star Phoenix newspapers, and today at this very moment we're going to go through December 1st, 1941. That's where I happen to be in my research, and I'll show you sort of the process I do of how I find the clippings and how I save them and label them so people can use them for reference later on. Alright, so we're going to zoom in onto my screen here a little bit. Hopefully you can kind of read what I'm looking at. Okay, so here we are. There's two great websites to see the Star Phoenix online digitally. Google News is one way, and so I have it bookmarked here, and they have it on there. You can search by the date. And then I also have another browser open with the website newspapers.com. This is a site you have to pay for, but if you're looking for something quicker, this site's more useful because it actually has a searchable text feature, so it can actually search for keywords that are mentioned in articles. And you cannot do that on the Google page. Interestingly enough, I prefer the Google page just because I'm actually going through every single day. I just find it easier to scroll through. So here we are, December 1st, 1941. I'm going to blow it up big on my screen. And usually the front page is a big international World War II heading. So I don't save many of those because they don't relate to Saskatoon directly. But we're going to jump to the third page, which has always been the page where most of the Saskatoon news appears. And you can see a nice big picture here, graduates of the Army Trade School. And so this is a photo of men training, and this was taken at the exhibition park. So what I'm going to do, because I like this picture and I'd like it to be larger, I'm going to go back over to the newspapers.com site, because it's easier to blow up pages and then be able to grab the image from the screen. So on the newspapers.com website, I can click on this print and save button and select portion of the page that I want. And so I'm going to actually grab just the part of the paper I want and crop it just perfectly. Okay. So that saves to my computer. Then I open it up. You can see it's actually huge. So I usually shrink them down a bit because the files are quite large. So I'm going to shrink it down to like half size. Still large, not crazy large. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as an actual JPEG picture to my computer. So 1941, Star Phoenix. And then I use a whole bunch of keywords so that we can search for this later. So I'm going to use war, World War II, veterans. I could put photo, and then I could also mention whatever I want. So I'm going to name a bunch of the officers here, just their last names. So I've got Vipond, Sundoger, Boucher, Potts, Slade, Lund, Bear, Evans, Baru, Tchaikovsky, is that spelled right? Don't I missed a letter. Tchaikovsky, Gibson, Cromery, Fink, Sankey, Reichland. Now, you can only label things so long this way, so I can't name everybody. So I usually put about 15 names, and that's sort of my limit. Okay, so then here's what I do next. I've labeled it with a bunch of the names. We've saved it to my computer. Then I run the Saskatoon History group on Facebook, and I copied and pasted all the keywords that I just typed. I'm going to paste it into there. I'm going to attach a photo of the file that I just saved, which was 1 megabyte. And as quickly as it can upload to Facebook, and there it is. And now I've just made a new post at the Saskatoon History page, and we'll see if we get any comments from this in the next day. Though of course I post a lot. I try to go through an entire month of the newspaper in a single day. That takes me anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, just depends. So we just started minutes ago, so we've got a big journey. I'm just going to give you a few samples here today. So now I'm going to see if there's anything else in the news for that same day that also catches my attention. And if there is, then I will grab it as well. Usually there's only a couple things really big in the newspaper that I save, because I can't save everything or I would never finish this project. Okay, so just scrolling through the pages. Usually the big news is in page 3, 4, and 5. So I've already passed those. So I'm going to jump back to the Google Groups page, because what I like about this is I can scroll sideways, quickly look at all the ads, all the features. So I can grab any really interesting photographs, sports teams, cool advertisements, and generally there's not a lot of them. So there you go, I'm done. So December 1st we have completed. We saved only one clipping from the entire day. Here on Google News, I'm going to go to the next day, December 2nd. Same thing. Nothing on the first page I'm going to grab. So let's go zoom in a bit so we can read page 3 a little bit clearer. And we're just looking for anything that's interesting. So here is a plane crash to do with soldiers training. So I think I will grab that. So again, I'm going to go back to newspapers.com. And I'm going to click on December 2nd. Once it loads, and then I'll jump to page 3 directly. And then I will again just go crop and save just the article part of the page I want. Now I don't always do this. If it's a really short article, it's big enough on the Google page, so I just save it that way. But this way it's nicer because for big articles I can actually make sure I get the whole thing. And of course it saves it at a much larger size, even bigger than I need. So I'm going to shrink that down a bit. And then again, I'm going to label this with keywords. So again, 1941, Star Phoenix, War, World War II. And then I'm going to put, actually I'll put veteran. And then I'm going to put died. That's the keyword I use for deaths. So let's see, do we have a name here? JLG Coat. And this was a airplane crash in Dafoe, Saskatchewan. December 2nd, page 3. So there's all my keywords. Again, I'm going to copy all of that. Going to go back to the Facebook group and paste it in and then upload that picture. So you can see this is the basic thing. When I save music clippings, I save them to a different page and I do a little bit more work. But we're doing 1941 here, so there's not a lot of big music news at that time. Alright, we'll scroll the page, see if anything else. So here's what I want. Okay, so we are going to save this article over here. Buildings acquired. The Colonial and Alexandra apartments were bought by Saskatoon residents. So this time I'm not going to go copy it at the newspaper site, because this one is big enough here at the Google website. So I've taken a screen grab of it by printing screen on my keyboard. And then I've zoomed in. So you'll see it's a lot smaller if I do it this way, but it's still big enough. We can read it, no problem. And now I just have to type my keywords. So I'm going to type apartment, Colonial, Alexandra, blocks, 20th Street, Avenue F, and 525th, 20th Street West, sold by Edward Richardson to Claude James. I'm going to put end, and I'm going to put new as also keywords. And this is December 2nd, page 3. So now in the future, if somebody wants information on either of those buildings, we'll be able to find them with these keywords. And uploading this new clipping to Facebook group. And let's just go see if there's anything else that jumps out at me here. Canadian schools, some ads for the movies out that week. Morton's ads. So I do like to have a sample of every new business advertisement, at least one. So I'm just going to make sure I have an ad for Morton's. And this is what's great about this. I can look for keywords to see. Yes, I've already saved a Morton's ad from 1940, so we're good. And crossword puzzles, sports, nothing major here. Cartoon, comic strips, big ad for Eden's. But that's about it. So there you go. That's December 2nd, 1941. And I just keep going. It never ends. So now I'm on to December 3rd. Reading the headline. Nothing really there I want. Going to page 3. Major crypts. So there's some war-related stories which are interesting, but I'm not going to save these ones. MacPhail passed away, but not enough information there to make it. I'm going to grab that one. And page 4. No, I think I'll pass. I have to be somewhat picky. You see, I actually really, it seems like I post a lot, but I really am quite selective of picking really the most interesting things. My goal is to basically save the 1,000 most interesting things of a year, which basically does limit me to, on average, 3 articles or advertisements per day. That's it. Some, of course, I take none. Some I've taken as many as 50 clippings from a single newspaper. Just depends what they're talking about. Alright, well there you go. So we went through December 1, 2, and 3 of 1941, gave you a sample of what it's like, procedure that works for me, and then of course I have my running database, so if you want a word, if you say I want to hear about articles, say 1941 war-related articles just about veterans specifically, and if I've used the keyword veteran, you can see already for this year 1941 here's 65 different clippings, and you can see I've already saved a lot of really good group photos which give us a lot of names. I try to go through an entire month a day, so my goal will be to finish December 1941 in the next 24 hours, so I can keep going on. I have a long way to go. So there you go. That gives you an example of just kind of the procedure and what I'm up to here. It just requires a lot of patience to just keep going. So I've passed the 50,000 clipping mark that I have saved so far, and I generally try to, my goal is to save 500 every week. And I've been on a pretty good track record all of this year for that. So we're doing pretty good with that. Of course, if you're watching this video on YouTube and you'd like to join the group, it's easy. Just go to facebook.com and do a search for Saskatoon History, and you will find my group. And you can come join us. We have a lot of fun learning history and a lot of entertainment there as well. Because there's always something shocking that happened in the news that nobody remembers, depending what year it was. Currently we're finishing 1941 today, but I'm also working on 1904, and I'm also going to start 1990 this week. So for those who don't want to go quite so far back. Alright, well there you go. Thanks for watching this, and hope to see you on the site.